My friends, I have some absolutely devastating news. I hope you're ready to hear this. Leslie Kerman, one of our engineers on board our Minmus space station, has sadly come down with an acute case of Krakenitis and needs immediate recovery and bringing back to Kerbin. This leaves us with a bit of a dilemma, though, in that there needs to be a certain number of engineers on board the space station in order to operate its big gravity ring, and so we're going to have to do a rapid crew transfer mission using this SSTO that is very rapidly coming together on screen. We need to get a replacement engineer to the Minmus space station, get Leslie Kerman on board the SSTO, and then get back to Kerbin with great haste to hopefully save her. And that is actually not the mission I had planned today. I know, kind of a bit repetitive. Oh, Matt's latest mission was a Minmus SSTO. I did that just last week, and ironically, that was a rescue mission as well, although like a real one, not a flimsily put together work of fiction to kind of serve as a plot device for this video. Basically, guys, the mission I had planned today was one of epic proportions. It was an interstellar mission. You're going to see the rocket on the launch pad right now. There it is. But it's not going to be launching today because the rocket was not ready. So you have this instead to kind of fill the space until that mission is ready. And so the rescue mission is off, and yes, that was like genuine. My actual plan for today's mission was to do a big interstellar mission with like there's the rocket there. It was massive, and I'm really happy with how the craft is coming together. I'm recording this commentary on Thursday evening after the video the Thursday right before this video goes out, which is Saturday the 14th of February, and I just had to make the executive decision that either I rush the rest of the mission. Now I've designed the craft, I rush the whole thing and it's going to be a real nightmare to edit and get it uploaded on time, or I push it back to say Monday the 16th of February, or I don't know, Tuesday or something like that, and have this little filler video because I don't really know how the YouTube algorithm works, and I always upload KSP videos on Saturdays. So I thought, well, I kind of really want the big interstellar mission, I should say. I want that to do well because I'm quite proud of how it's coming together, but I also don't want to like annoy the YouTube algorithm. So we'll do this little filler video for Saturday to get you all kind of warmed up and hyped up, get you guys ready, get you guys know that I've got big things in the works, and then hopefully probably by Monday I'll have had like plenty of time over the weekend to really edit the video, do it justice, and there you go. So that's why I'm doing this video today, and I realise I feel like I've talked really fast, and now I'm probably gonna I've kind of run out of important things to say for the rest of this commentary, so we'll just see how things go. As you can see, it's a pretty standard SSTO ascent profile, right, for me. So we've got all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 engines burning at this point. Well, not anymore, I should say. We have we've cut out we've cut the Rapier engines. Now we're using the nuclear engine to cruise our way to space. So I kind of aimed for an apoapsis, of about 85 kilometers, if I do believe, if I remember correctly. Yes, there we are. We have a nice and high apoapsis. We can deploy the SSTO's solar panels and, of course, our communications dish. And then we can just time warp up to apogee and perform a circularization burn to, circularize our orbit around Kerbin. And then we can go ahead and plot a maneuver node to get us to Minmus. Here is that circularization burn happening right now. On board this craft, I should say, we've got 3 Kerbals. They've gone now. Well, when the gameplay screen comes back, I will resume this little tangent, but let's go ahead and plot the maneuver node just here. As you can see, Minmus isn't in the most ideal of locations. We're going to have to do a bit of a mid-course correction burn to get a nice encounter with Minmus, but, it's all going to be fairly low cost in the grand scheme of things. And we have a lot of Delta V. This SSTO, what you're seeing is the test flight. Again, it's Thursday night at this point. I've been editing my other video all day, and I'm like, I need to get something done. I don't know what to do. Let's just build an SSTO that looks like it mathematically should work, and then we shall go ahead and just fly this mission. I guess it kind of does use a little bit of cheeky part clipping, but with with that nuclear engine in between the two Rapier engines. But I don't know. I don't think it's too bad, right? I have nothing else to add to that. I'm just thinking, it's probably not. It's probably fine. My subscribers probably won't mind too much. And here we are plotting the mid-course correction burn. And yes, like I say, this SSTO ended up having a lot more delta than it really needed to. It only needs to get to low Minmus orbit and then back to Kerbal. It doesn't need to land on Minmus. But luckily, you guys will not believe this. As I mentioned, we're rescuing Leslie Kerman, who has contracted an acute case of Krakenitis. So Krakenitis, for those that don't know, I was reading in the Lancet, it doesn't have any known treatment or cures, but literally, as we were on our way to Minmus, I had a text from Werner von Kerman himself, who said that they've discovered that the cure is mint ice cream. What are the odds, guys? So we could go down to the surface of Minmus once we've recovered Leslie Kerman and gather some surface samples, because as we know, Minmus's surface is of course comprised of mint ice cream, and then we can get her back to Kerbin along with the mint ice cream samples, get them synthesized and get the medicine ready to administer, and save a life. How exciting is that? So yes, now I can see the Kerbals names. We've got Valentina Kerman, Grafert Kerman, and Jenster Kerman. So Jenster Kerman is the engineer that's going to take over from Leslie Kerman's post. The other two Kerbals were just auto-populated. Normally, my Kerbals get auto-populated by Jeb Kerman, Bob Kerman, and Bill Kerman, but they are currently on board the interstellar craft that's on board that's on the launch pad at the Kerbal Space Center. I guess we can say they're just kind of doing some like a wet dress rehearsal or something like that, preparing for that big interstellar mission. I'm really excited. I feel like I sort of cheated you guys. The last time I did an interstellar mission, I went to the Deb system. This is not going to the Deb system, by the way. It's going to be somewhere else entirely, sort of. And I feel like a lot of people felt a bit cheated because I used a Kraken drive, mostly because to showcase the Deb system, I wouldn't have been able to do it without kind of using loads of mods that I'm not familiar with, and I didn't really have time to study the lore of all these different mods to be able to make a craft that can have the efficiency to visit all the planets in the Deb system. And I wanted to do like landings in the Deb system and do full exploration. And the Deb system is really difficult. Like literally all the planets are harder than doing an Eve mission in stock KSP. It's a really, really unforgiving system. I should probably mention, by the way, the Deb system is part of the Promised Worlds mod, which basically adds the promised star systems that were going to be added in KSP2, but obviously didn't happen because KSP2 got canned. Deb was one of those systems. Tune was the other system, and Promised Worlds adds both of those. But yeah, the Deb system, my goodness, it is so unforgiving. It's borderline not even fun to visit, to be honest. I wouldn't really recommend visiting Deb unless you have the patience of an absolute saint or you're using parts mods like, I don't know, near future technologies, far future technologies. I'm not really that familiar with those two mods, but I'm sure I've been led to believe they include some more efficient engines than what's available in stock KSP. So further research is needed. I will be going back to Deb at some point. I have big plans for Deb, but well, part of the reason why the video I was going to make today, or the video I had plans to upload today, has taken so long is because originally the interstellar mission was going to go to Deb, and then it turned out my Delta V maps for like Dama and all these were way off, and so my landers didn't work. It took me hours and hours, and then nothing was working. I was like, oh my gosh. But then I found a better place to go. I've kind of spoiled the video now, haven't I? We're going to go to Tune. That's going to be the next video. So I'm very excited for that. Here we can see we are looking at the perspective of Leslie Kerman trying to get on board the SSTO. Unfortunately, she messed up and went to the wrong end of the space station. So now we're going to have to just... I was about to say EVA, but we're going to have to IVA all the way back. So I guess kind of good from a video perspective, right? Because you get a nice little tour of the Minmus space station. If I remember, there should be a card on screen and a link in the description so you can watch this original video where I made this space station to begin with. And yeah, now we're just getting through the final major module. This is the centrifuge. We haven't got time. We haven't the time, I'm afraid, to do a tour of the centrifuge because time is of the essence. Leslie Kerman needs to get on board the SSTO. There was a bit of an issue here where we couldn't transfer through this hatch, but with the power of video editing, we can. There we are. I can close the hatch behind us in that inline docking port, stock part there, and yeah, get on board a little seat, and then get ready to depart from the space station, almost back home. Obviously, we've got to go for, for medical reasons and not, because I thought, oh, we got the Delta V, we could just do a minimalist landing, right? No, that was not the reason. The real reason was, again, we have to cure this acute case of Krakenitis, which, as it turns out, requires mint ice cream. Any editors of the KSP wiki, please feel free to add that. I will not charge you for the research conducted by my space program. Just a little heads up there. So, yes, we have now successfully, cinematically undocked from the Minimus space station. For anyone that's wondering, those big parts mods there are part of Natea's Stockalike station parts expansion Redux mod. Always a bit of a mouthful to say, but I highly, highly recommend it. It's brilliant for making space stations, so that's why I did those parts there. Probably goes without saying, but this particular SSTO I'm using in this video is stock, because I'm most familiar with stock, and again, I didn't have very much. I had like an hour to basically, conceive of this video, and then make the craft, film it, and then I'm now editing it. So yeah, very limited time budget, but hopefully that's quite a, I'll make up for things with the next video, which again I'm hoping will be Monday the 16th of February. Will be a nice fun old mission to the tune system. Yeah, so I got a little bit overzealous there with my touchdown. Well, I should say I almost crashed into the surface of Minimus, and then I fired up the Rapier engines, which have massive thrust rate ratios. We ended up getting kicked up back into the air again. I mean, not in the air, but you know what I mean. Away from the ground. And there we go. A nice, safe touchdown. Slowly skidding into place. Almost there. Almost down. And ready. There we are. And as you can see, we're about to crash, evidently, because the game would not let me quick save. And that's me pressing quick save loads of times. I guess when you're like landed like this, I'm doing the air quotes, but your landing gear is retracted, the game considers you about to crash for some reason, even though the craft is completely stationary, because we are on the Minimus flats. Valentina coming there, gathering a surface sample, because of course we need the mint ice cream. I didn't read what the surface sample text said, but I'm sure it said, "Well done, Valentina Kerman. You have harvested the mint ice cream. Surely Leslie Kerman will make a full recovery from her acute case of Krakenitis." So, with all that being said, it's time now to get back to Kerbin as quickly as possible so that Leslie Kerman can be given the treatment that she so desperately needs. So we're going to fire up our nuclear engine. Thrust rate ratio isn't great, and obviously wings don't work on Minimus because there's no air, but we can use our little RCS thrusters on the front of the craft and the rear of the craft to help pitch our nose up so we can get spaceborne. I always want to say airborne, even though that's not technically correct because there's no air. Right, I just said that. But you know what I mean? Off the ground, essentially. And there we are. We are now off the ground. We can see the shadow of our space plane there disappearing beneath us as we can start thinking about getting back to Kerbin. And I am doing a fairly kind of low angle of attack, which ended up nearly costing us dearly, because as you can see, once I complete this little burn just here, which is going to happen in just a second, we ended up getting pretty close to these mountains. I don't know how evident it was in the video, but yeah, in real life I was like, oh please, no, I just need this video to work and nothing to go wrong. But it was fine, so nothing happened there. And yeah, now we're just plotting the maneuver node that's going to get us back to Kerbin. So I believe I set our periapsis around Kerbin to be 40 kilometers, so, low enough in the atmosphere that we can get a meaningful amount of air resistance to aerobrake and lower our apoapsis, but not too low that we'll end up, succumbing to the tyranny of re-entry heating and end up blowing up essential parts of the craft. Non-essential parts of the craft, I'm not too worried about. Foreshadowing. Again, I didn't test this craft, and I didn't realize just how weak the forward RCS blocks would be in the face of re-entry heating. So they are going to be expended. So I guess it's still an SSTO, right? Because SSTO only means single. There you go. It only means single stage to orbit, but in the spirit of things, you would want the entire vessel to survive and get back to the Kerbal Space Center. But, it wasn't to be, and actually that's it. It wasn't to be. I'm very sorry, guys. You have my sincerest apologies. Hopefully, once again, I can make up. I feel like this video is going to do annoyingly well. I bet this video is going to get like 5 million views. And then whenever I do like filler videos, they always do crazily well. And then when I actually get around to publish the high effort video that I had to postpone with the filler video, it never does too well. Like the best example of this is way back in the ancient days of 2016 I was working on, I didn't even know what I was working on. I was working on a big long video. Maybe it was Junior Attacks or something like that. And it wasn't ready in time. So I'm like, you know what? I'll make a quick, easy video just to fill the time for this week. I'll make a video where I build a space station. And that video is, to this day, the most successful video on my channel. It's got like over 5 million views, I think. So yeah. So I have a bit of a track record of having my filler videos do really, really well. So maybe this resonates with people. And if it does, then that's a bit of a shame, because most of the commentary I've just spent typing up a different video. But I hope it was fun. It was a fun old journey nonetheless. I say this as if we're wrapping up, but as you can see, drama ensues once again. I ended up realizing I was going to be massively overshooting the peninsula on which the Kerbal Space Center sits. So I ended up doing this like crazy, unrealistic barrel roll re-entry to try and generate as much air resistance as possible, so we wouldn't overshoot by that much. One thing I always like to try and do is not use the Rapier engines to get back to the runway, even though we could, because they, we have liquid fuel left and we can run them in open cycle mode. Air breathing mode, I should say. I guess open cycle mode as well. But I don't know, I feel like it's much more satisfying to be able to glide back to the runway from orbit without requiring any additional engine power. And as you can see on this occasion, despite us obviously needing to do a pretty unrealistic air brake in order to slow down in time, we kind of made up for it by not requiring the use of the Rapier engines. There to the right, you can see one of a booster I recovered a few weeks ago. And then on the other side, we can see the interstellar craft preparing for its mission, which I guess I'll film tomorrow if I get around to it. There we are, touched down. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this weird video. Leslie coming there grimacing, but rest assured, Leslie, everything will be made good soon. Part of the reason why we were able to rescue so quickly is because of the wonderful names on the right side of the screen, my Patreon supporters who fund my space program. So thank you so much if your name is on the right-hand side of the screen there. If you want to join those names, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of this video. But that is the end, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.